Hello, my friends. Where are we going today? I'm really pleased. We are about to visit together a very special country, one that has drawn me to it for years, and it's a great pleasure to share it with you tonight. If you've got your tickets ready, we can fly tonight or tomorrow or this week because we've got the British Overseas Airways Corporation Traveller's Digest book, a guide to 101 countries in 1961. And this week, today or tomorrow, we are going to France. Let us see what joys we have to benefit from and to enjoy, to take advantage of. France, the country. Almost every European has some tie, however loose, with France, bordered as she is by 6 nations of the European continent, and separated from the British Isles at the closest point by a mere 20-mile stretch of the English Channel. But the influence of France has spread right throughout the world since pre-Napoleonic times. For centuries she has been considered the most civilized of nations, cultivated, gay, urbane, and the French language, used by elegant gatherings at the court of the Russian Tsars, for instance, still makes the most polished conversation amongst intellectuals and in high society the world over. Paris, the capital, 1 hour 10 minutes by jet from London, 8 hours from New York, is more than a place. It is a personal experience, and every guest treasures different memories of this entrancing host or hostess, for Paris is feminine in her variety and moods, and is a universal symbol of sophisticated living and respect for the arts. If you seek clichés, you will find them none the less enjoyable for being anticipated. Food is the best in the world. The nude shows are spectacular. The fashions fabulous, the museums breathtaking. The Bois Romantique, the left bank bohemian. But there are worlds within worlds in this kaleidoscopic city, and the fascination is finding them for yourself. Within easy reach of Paris are Versailles, where you can see the palace of Louis XIV, La Malmaison, the home of Napoleon and Josephine, the Renaissance Palace and beautiful gardens of Fontainebleau, the noble palace at Chantilly, and the cathedral at Chartres. Beyond, every region has its own character and charm. The Loire Valley with its chateaux and vineyards, fashionable Biarritz and the Pyrenees, mountainous frontier between France and Spain and the home of the Basques. The French Alps, first-class skiing and health-giving spas. Brittany, Normandy and Picardy, where the Frenchman and his family take their holiday. Fishing villages with cobbled streets. The white coiffes of regional costume, broad, breezy beaches, street markets and small, friendly casinos. A big, smart one at Derville. And the south of France with the sun-soaked beaches of the Côte d'Azur, Monte Carlo, Nice, Caen, Juan-les-Pins, Saint-Tropez, etc. Chief business and industrial centres outside Paris are Marseille, Lyon, Toulouse, Bordeaux, Nantes, Lille, Nancy, Rouen, Limoges, and Grenoble. Airports in Paris are Orly, intercontinental, and Le Bourget, continental. Both have very good amenities. Buy duty-free perfume, liquor, cigarettes on your way through. The people of France. Population is 44,788,000. Is made up of native French, with very small minorities of Basques in the Pyrenees, Poles, mainly on the land in the north, Spanish, domestic workers in the southwest, and Italians, mostly engineers and builders in the southeast. A republic with president and national assembly elected by citizens of French territories. Common law is administered under the Napoleonic Code. Religion is predominantly Roman Catholic, with churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues of other denominations. The French are a highly educated people. Many speak several languages, and English is widely understood and spoken throughout the country. Public notices to tourists are usually given in French, English, German, Spanish, and Italian. Climate and clothing. A temperate climate at its best south of Lyon. Paris has similar temperatures to London and New York, averaging 65 degrees Fahrenheit in summer, 40 in winter. Best times here are early spring and autumn. Along the Riviera, summer temperatures are usually up in the 80s and the air is always dry and clear. Rain in northern France can even be more blinding than it is in England. In the south, it comes in brief and infrequent thunder showers. A capricious visitor to Provence is the Mistral, a powerful wind which sweeps down the Rhone Valley, stirs up the dust for a day or two, then disappears as quickly as it came. Over most of the country, vegetation is the same as in England: oak, beech, birch, chestnut, and plane trees, orchards of apple, pear, and cherry, wild flowers in the hedgerow. Flowers, especially jasmine, lavender, and mimosa, are grown mainly for perfume making, centered around Grasse in the Alpes Maritimes. Most common birds are sparrows and pigeons. Animals are mainly domestic, though there are wild boar, deer, foxes, and even wolves in the forests. The northern French are sober and correct in their dress, and visitors are expected to be the same. On the Riviera playgrounds, however, sobriety in dress is more a source of amusement. Here the bikini, so frowned upon elsewhere, comes into its own. Throughout France, formal clothes, morning and evening dress, are worn only on very special occasions. In the cities, hairdressing is of a very high standard, but expensive. Shampoo and set, 16 francs. For men, trim and shampoo, 7 francs. 24-hour service for laundering and dry cleaning. Where to stay? France probably offers more accommodation to the square mile than any other country. Paris alone has hundreds of hotels, and the very word pension, with all its useful implications, originated in this benevolent land. It would be foolish to attempt any kind of survey or list in this book, but we can recommend 2 excellent free brochures published by the French National Tourist Board. These cover 350 hotels in Paris and 1,500 in provincial Paris, ranging from luxury to moderate. Prices are quoted for full board, half board, bed and breakfast, as well as for separate meals. Your travel agent will be glad to supply you with these brochures and to give you some information about pensions and other hotels not included. Meanwhile, here are a few examples of top-grade hotels in Paris, with prices for a double room and breakfast. Up to 120 new francs. The Ritz, Meurice, George V. 70 to 90 new francs. The Grand, Plaza Athénée, St. James, and d'Albany. 45 to 60 new francs. The Ambassador, Scribe, and Palais d'Orsay. Food and drink in France. Standard is high everywhere and astronomical in places. French bread is light and crusty. Butter is rich and creamy, salted in Brittany. All kinds of delicious regional cheeses, soups, and chicken dishes. Among 1,000 delectable dishes, try bouillabaisse, fish soup in Marseille, foie gras, goose liver pâté, and palome, pigeon in Landes, piperade in the Basque country, langouste, lobster and other shellfish, pancakes and omelettes, especially those in Mont Saint-Michel in Brittany, choucroute, sauerkraut in Alsace, fondue, a cheese dish in Savoy, quiche, a savoury pastry in Lorraine, jambon fumé, smoked ham in Morvan, coq au vin, chicken in wine in Bourgogne, cuisse de grenouille, frog's legs in Paris, huîtres, oysters in Vendée, tripe à la mode de Caen, tripe in Normandy, truite, trout in Divan-les-Bains. Tap water generally safe but not palatable. The French prefer mineral waters like Perrier and Vichy. French beer is less powerful than British brews. But this is wine country. Claret, Burgundy, Bordeaux, Rhone wines, Champagne, Cognac, great wines, modest wines, all good wines. It is usual to take an aperitif before a meal. In Paris, this pleasant custom can be spun out for hours while you watch the world go by from a pavement table in one of the street cafes. It is difficult to name a few excellent restaurants in Paris without naming hundreds more. All follow the admirable practice of displaying the day's menu in the window, so you can't be fleeced when it comes to paying the bill. 12 to 15% gratuities are usual. To fetch the waiter, call garçon, s'il vous plaît, the waitress, mademoiselle, and in the very elegant restaurants, address the waiter as maître d'hôtel, the wine waiter. A knowledgeable enthusiast, always ready to help you make your choice, is Monsieur le Sommelier. There are no licensing restrictions. Sport and entertainment. Best regions for sea and shore sports and skiing are indicated under the country. There is bullfighting in Bayonne and Dax, and other spectator sports everywhere, noticeably horse racing. Famous courses at Longchamp and Deauville. Sports clubs are usually very select. National theatres in Paris are the Opéra, Opéra Comique, Comédie Française, Théâtre National Populaire, concert halls, Palais de Chaillot, Salle Gavot, Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, Salle Pleyel, Concert Colonne, Conservatoire. Splendid museums, notably the world-famous Louvre. Festivals, some Son et Lumière, sound and light, at night in many places. Cinemas in all towns. Casinos, the plushest at Monte Carlo in many places, even tiny towns, and folk entertainment in the country. Among Parisian nightclubs, Yves de Paris, Lido, Épiclub, Moulin Rouge, Club 43, La Chauve-Souris, Le Sexy, Trappe d'Or, Scheherazade, Le Chaco, Carousel, Crazy Horse Saloon, Le Fado, La Fiesta. Dancing at Yves de Paris. Shocking, Romance, Éléphant Blanc. Cabarets at most nightclubs. In Montmartre, Patachou, Chez Ma Cousin, Le Lepin Agile. In Montparnasse, Le Jockey, Quartier Latine, Club de la Huchette for jazz. If you have the stamina, you can stay until closing at 6 a.m. Taxis are plentiful until the early hours. Radio Fusion Française has several wavelengths. Television in Paris, Lyon, Lille, and Monaco. Easy to buy English-language newspapers and books in Paris. French magazines are excellent, especially Paris Match, Jeux de France, and for women, Elle, Marie Claire, Jardin des Modes, Le Monde et la Vie. Getting about in France. Long-distance railways, mostly electric, are super efficient, swift, comfortable, and punctual, with excellent meal services and sleeping accommodation. Local lines are less predictable. Paris's underground system, the metro, you pay the same price for any journey, is now undergoing modernization. Main roads outside the towns are smooth, fast, well signposted. Cars can be hired for 20 new francs a day. There are cheap petrol coupons for tourists. Drive on right. Watch the priorité à droite rule carefully. French drivers are skillful but stubborn. Take a bus in town if you know where you're going. System can be a little confusing. Taxi driving is nothing short of a vacation here, and you'd best respect this fact. They are all speed merchants, but this can be an advantage. Charges are 1 new franc when the flag is first put down, then 1 new franc per kilometre. Tip 10 to 15%. A cosier form of horsepower is the fiacre, 1 horse cab, in which you can clip-clop along the Bois de Boulogne or by the Seine. River steamers and pleasure launches ply up and down the great river and offer a restful way of seeing rural France. Shopping. Paris never loses her allure as Europe's most elegant shop window. All the chic feminine adornments are at their best here. Gloves, hats, blouses, handkerchiefs, belts, costume jewellery, umbrellas, made-to-measure lingerie, beachwear, and, of course, scent. For men, silk ties, socks, braces, and cufflinks have that French touch of subtle boldness. There are excellent shops in some provincial towns, chiefly Lyon, Nice, Marseille. Prisunic and Monoprix stores anywhere are always worth a visit. They offer a vast range of goods, from useful kitchen gadgets to huge bottles of eau de cologne at very competitive prices. Don't leave France without buying a box of sweetmeats. Wrappings are irresistible, and a bottle of cognac or liqueur such as Benedictine, Cointreau, Armagnac, Grand Marnier. American and English cigarettes are expensive, but you are allowed to bring in 1,000 of your own. France's state-manufactured Gaulois, black tobacco with a lingering aroma, are good and cheap. 1 franc 15 for 20. A wide choice of photographic materials. Films are expensive. Processing service, 24 hours for black and white, 10 days for colour. Shops open from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., close on Mondays. There is a personal export scheme for visitors. Some basic facts and figures about France. Money. Currency is the new franc, NF, divided into 100 centimes. Notes are in denominations of 10, 50, and 100 new francs. Coins, 1 new franc and 5 new francs. The old currency is still in circulation. Banks open 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. and, for exchange purposes, on Saturday mornings. Holidays, 1st Jan, Easter, 8th May, Ascension, Pentecost, 14 July, 15 August, 11 November, and 25th December. Making a telephone call can be a bit unnerving, but don't get rattled, it's fatal. Public telephones in glass booths. Buy jetons, metal slugs. Airmail to UK costs 30 centimes for cards, 50 for letters up to 20 grams. Takes 24 hours. To United States, 35 centimes for every 5 grams. Takes 3 days. Stamps from post offices and tobacconists. Tabac with cigar sign. Letterboxes blue, well camouflaged in walls and lampposts. Medical services, first class. Doctor's attendance, 12 new francs. American hospital is best for visitors. Electric current, 110, 220 volts AC. Further information from French national tourist offices in most capitals. Suggested reading: A Narrow Street, and also Springtime in Paris, both by Eliot Paul. And that, my friends, is a fascinating introduction to you and I visiting France. And we're taking our guide as this, the British Overseas Airways Corporation Traveller's Digest, published in 1961.